Okay, let's play the vid. Hello there. Good. Nobody out there tonight? It was just trying. Emma, you in the room? Emma's. Oh, Barry's there. Bang on time. Hello, Barry. How's it going your end? Doing all right, pal? You're into your Reiki the new. How's that going for you? You're saying you're doing your master's shit. So what are you doing? Meditating your arse off? What's involved in your higher level Reiki? How do you know you're good at it? Do you have test subjects? You have to prove that you're healing to get your certificate, you know? Yeah, something, I guess, I've heard some people in the past talk quite negative things about Reiki, but then after talking to Stephen D. Kelly, who does it as well, he kind of explained it differently, and yeah, it sounds all good, yeah? Your wife is your test subject, yeah? And I take it she's doing it to help you as well, aye? You're going to heal each other. So, all good. How's the paintings going? Are you doing many paintings and that these days? For those of you who are just joining, I'm having a wee chat with Barry here. He used to be in the army. He was on shooting the shit. If you go to my website and go to the shooting the shit category, and not maybe number 17, 18, something like that. I think Barry was on talking about his PTSD, but also we showed his artwork, which is very impressive. I took art at school. Well, I never took art. I had art in high school, but I was very original with my artwork, so much so that the teacher and the classmates would laugh at my stuff and actually put a picture of my parrot up in the school corridor, which was a great source of amusement to people, but it stood out, you know? That was the genius of it. So, anyway, welcome to tonight's show. We're trying to get Mo to join us. Yeah? Oh, he's came in here. I just need to find out where he is. Because Mo is going to talk a little bit. We're going to go into the Article 61. Barry's just saying there that he's going to show in the gallery. Yeah, quite right. That's what you need to be doing. Definitely needs to be displayed. It's good stuff. Quite, again, original. Now, I'm just trying to find Mo. I've got tons of stuff in the system, so I'll have to flick through it. We've been trying to get Mo on, by the way, for quite some time now. And it's no happened so far. We've been trying for about 50 minutes. No, I can't locate him. It says he's trying to join. So please bear with me. Oh, he's back again. He got kicked out and he's trying to join again. Technical issues. Hope you're all doing well out there. If you're watching now or later, please excuse the time delay here. It's quite an important topic, this Article 61 of the Magna Carta. If you want to go to Practical Lawful Dissent Facebook group, it's a good place to start. You can download the documents. You can see what other people are saying about it. They're filling out their paperwork. I've got mine up here. That kind of stuff. I've not actually done it yet, but I'm planning on doing that on my days off. And then there's a 135-page PDF document that I started reading today to give you the history of this thing, because you can't just go into these things and not know the full implications of it, you know. This is part of, I think this Corona thing, you know, is an opportunity for humanity to wake up and pull its head out its arse, because I haven't been too impressed with the way people behave and the way the world is going for quite some time now. Everyone else seemed to be reveling in it. But in one way, all this stuff is making us raise our consciousness. Hello, Nicola. How are you doing? All right? Yeah, so we're raising our consciousness, and we're going to have to take responsibility for the things that we do. In that regards, our food, our health. Not Mo, you're no coming in, mate. I can't see you. So keep trying, I guess. Let me know if you can see me at some point, then that means you're in. So anyway, let me get up an image here. I thought I had loaded more in. I've not got that many images. The Article 61 thing, though, and I never told you another success that they had with it. I mentioned one yesterday, Which one? I think I mentioned the one where the woman got the CEO of the NHS to contact her because they were refusing to give her son a blood test, but she used this Magna Carta thing, the Article 61, and then basically uh, got what she wanted, a blood test for her son and stuff like that. So it's very powerful, this. Now, another interesting aspect to it, the guy Andy Barlow, who is helping people with this, he took the registration plates off his car. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but first of all, when you drive your car, you're driving the registered keeper. The DVLA actually own it because it's registered. Regis means to give ownership to the king. And a driver's license, you only have a driver's license when you're engaged in commercial activity. So if you're a taxi driver, etc., then you need a license because you're doing business with that. But to move freely from one place to another, even in a mechanized vehicle, we're allowed to do that without hindrance from the police officer, who's not a police constable. The police officers are working on a legal capacity to collect revenue, whereas the police constable is there to uphold the common law. Two very different things. So he got stopped by the police, funnily enough, and what happened was, the guy says, "Get out your car." He's like, "No, I'm not going out the car." Then they started saying, "Where's your driver's license?" Blah, blah, blah. The long and short of it is, he's got this card, and he started reading it to the policeman, saying it is under Article 61 of the Magna Carta, and that guy can be personally responsible for anything that he tries to inflict upon him, and he can get all his assets stripped and basically done for treason, ultimately. I think it was that kind of level of power that this car has. So after all this, basically, the policeman said, "Have a nice day, sir." And off he trotted with his license plate free vehicle, which would mean shit like that wouldn't be happening and you get your picture sent to you. You know what I mean? Because they wouldn't be able to identify you. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? The identify. What is it? Someone's talking about now, the digital identity coming out. Is it Canada or somewhere like that? They're definitely rolling this shit out pretty fast because they know that people are waking up and they're all criminals and they have to lock us down and make us wear masks. There's the thing. Look at this fucking Hancock guy. You know, he's got. How can people take this guy seriously? To me, they're just pure evil, and they make me sick. How they can stand there and 100% lie, utter bullshit. Him and that Whitley guy, they've all got their hands in vaccine companies and all the rest of it, you know, and they're just standing there spouting absolute shite. And look, I've got the two flags there, the twin pillars of Freemasonry. They've always got them in the background somewhere. So yeah, scientific proof for existence of COVID. Where is it? Because I've never isolated it, purified it, categorized it, nor introduced it into a live person and caused illness. So in other words, it doesn't fucking exist. You know, and actually all the models that they show of it, it's all computer generated. The whole thing's based in theory. It's literally exists as an electrical fucking drone somewhere. It's just, you know, all the genetic strains of it they get, the genome streams, they just take bits of it, they just make it up. It's 100% unbelievable bullshit. Yeah? There's no proof that viruses cause any disease, and still I still ram this into all these truthers, and they're still posting shit like, you know, there's an iceberg, and the tip of the iceberg's the corona deaths, and all the rest of it underneath is vaccines and all this stuff. But it should be, the tip of the iceberg should be under the water, because there isn't any corona deaths, basically. Yes, people are dying from the maltreatment from the NHS, and we're all clapping the NHS, but basically, they're evil. They're put all these poisons into it. I mean, the people themselves obviously aren't evil, but the system and the whole thing about it, and what it's doing to people these days, and how they're like, you know, like for instance, Emma, she was having a DK. I thought it was that DKA, and the hospital, they forced a fucking swab up her nose to test for this coronavirus or sample your genes or whatever you want to call it, you know, against her will. No, that's not very nice, is it? What's wrong with people? What is actually wrong with them? And all these people, right, who are so anti they're calling us conspirators now, right? all these people are so anti the conspirators. They're all like fucking little Hitlers, aren't they? They're all completely rude. Are you finding this? If you I try and post some information. There's no virus. Check this website out. No, do your own research. I don't argue with them in any way, shape, or form. But basically, what happened today? I posted whatreallymakesyouill.com, and the response I got was people like you. All right. Well, thanks very much, pal. Aye. It's so unbelievably rude. Then I'm going into work this morning and I've got to walk through this fucking bleeper machine. That's another thing, Mo. I'm sending in this form about disabilities to not wear a mask, right? So they put a visor on me, and I'm going to say that that's not acceptable either, and I want that to fuck as well, right? So I'm going to be doing that next week once I get this Article 61 in place, which is why I was trying to get Mo on the show so we could all go into this in quite a bit of detail. But yeah, so there's a woman there. And she's masked up to here, and she's forcing me to go through this fucking, because I was dodging it quite a lot, to be honest with you. Now they've put all these fences up, so it's like I was going through a wee gap in a fence, and just at the principle of the thing, I don't know what this thing's fucking doing to me. You can beep, fuck off every morning going to work. So now you've got to get the scan. What the fuck's that doing to us? Who knows? So I'm going to, what do you think, Mo? Do you think we can get out of this one as well? Is that cause for your hidden disability? I can say that thing makes me fucking, well, I don't need to tell them, say, the mask can say, okay, but the bleeper as well, that's having a psychological effect on me. I didn't want to be fucking bleeped every morning, thanks very much. Aye? And, yeah, Barry there's just sharing that people are just, they're so incredibly rude. It's absolutely disgusting. And they're so anti the tinfoil hat wearers. It's incredible, isn't it? It really is. They're clinging so hard. They're just battering it all away. Keep that truth away from us. Keep that truth away from us. We believe Hancock. We believe Boris Johnson. We believe the fuckwits are evil and control of us all. We're supporting the evil. What the fuck is wrong with them? You know what I mean? That's good to know, Mo. I'm going to avoid the bleeper thing. I'm going full steam with this. I'm at the point, right, where basically I've got this video marketing business sitting in the background. There's so much shit I can theoretically do, but I'm not knackered after work and I'm not very business minded, you know, and maybe I'm not being driven enough because you've got the job and it's a safety thing, you know, but sometimes you need a bit of a push. So if they try and sack me, first of all, I've got the legal aspect of it with the Article 61, which gives us much more power. And, you know, but it might do us a favour if they fucking kick you out. And then I'll basically go even crazier on social media and I'll be doing hundreds of shit and chasing up businesses. And the problem is when you're trying to start a business, everyone's going out of business these days thanks to the government. And that's another thing with this Article 61. If you're a business owner and you're standing under that, you can open your business up and they can't do anything about it. You can take all the social distancing things down because ultimately this government that we have is fictitious, it's illegal, it shouldn't be there. They know it. That's why they're fucking telling this bullshit story from the likes of Hancock and all these fucking... I can't accuse him of the acts that they get up to because I don't know that firsthand, if you know what I mean. But when you get to a certain level up the establishment, you have to perform certain rituals so that you're in their gang. And then it's like they're all sworn to secrecy because, you know, they've all got shit in each other, basically. Literally, probably, aye? So Mo's trying to join again here. I'm just trying to see if he's about. He was trying to uninstall something. Avast. And he came with Avast as I've heard of it, but he said it was slowing down his desktop. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's just trying to get through to these people. Like, wake the fuck up. These tinfoil hat wearers have actually spent a bit of time and have got a brain to use to figure out, you know, these pricks that come on your BBC News, the paedophilia network that should have been shut down as soon as Jimmy Savile was fucking revealed, even though everybody knew about it at the time. I could be, maybe it is Facebook, Mo. That could be a point as well, because some people I'm actually hearing in the middle of a comment that they're writing and stuff like that, it gets deleted, you know? This is another outrageous thing. I'm just wondering, Mo, it's probably not possible, but if in this Article 61, right, that, you know, Mark Zuckerberg has set up this fucking thing for us all to, remember it was to get in touch with your friends across the world, wasn't it? And it'd be so lovely. You can make contact and make all your nice friends. And now oh, we didn't like what you're posting, we're going to ban you. It's like, well, fuck you, you cunt. First of all, why are we all still using this CIA fucking data collection thing? We've got to use it where we can. But, yeah, it's like their own things that they had to set up to introduce this digital reality. Now they've got us all on it and hooked in it, especially the youth. They'll keep us going till we all die off, and then the youth are all completely zapped into this world, and they didn't ken jack shit, do they? It's unbelievable. So, if in the Article 61, do we have a right that they can't ban us or stuff like that? Probably not. I mean, it is their platform. We're all using it. That's why people have their website and stuff like that, isn't it? But even to try and get people to go to your own website these days is quite hard, because people are just addicted to the Facebook, or some people don't like that and they use Twitter. But they're all essentially the same, you know. Instagram and YouTube started up originally themselves, didn't they? And then the big boys with the money come in and say, we'll be having that, your Googles, etc., and just buy it. And then it gets turned into something else. That's what they do with everything, like the punk movement or the hippie movement. I actually think they were created from the start, but even the things that do genuinely, like hip hop, I think was a genuine thing from the streets, you know? And then they've turned it into fucking 50 Cent and all the rest of it. And they just drag it down to their level, don't they? With the fucking shite. Obviously, these guys all know, I mentioned the hippie movement there. There's a great book called Weird Scenes from Inside the Canyon, something like that. Weird Scenes from the Canyon by Dave McGowan. He was the first one to kind of really delve into how all these musicians have military personnel and stuff like that. It's all a social engineering tool, music, etc. Especially, see these rap songs and everything. It's incredible. My son, like when he was 10 and 12 and that, he's listening to music about pussies and fucking cock slapping off the face and all the rest of it, you know. It's just, I'm actually listening to it with Jaw on the floor, like, what the fuck is that? And it's totally disgusting. I mean, I'm not a prude or anything, you know, but some of that stuff, it just isn't right, you know what I mean? There's decent morality has, because these guys are fucking sick that are at the top of the pyramid and they're running this show, it's going out the window, isn't it? Our standards have been lowered and lowered and lowered and lowered till now anything goes, basically. And they're trying to make paedophilia illegal, and they'll probably want to make snuff films illegal and shit like that in the future, you know? It's incredible. We have to, good people, that's what the thing is, isn't it? For evil to succeed, it requires good people do nothing. That's why we have to do this Article 61, step outside their system and basically bring them down. Because apparently, if we get 3 million people to do this Pledge of Allegiance, whatever it is, the oath, then we can take the government down, which sounds pretty good to me, because they're absolutely sick in the head and they're trying to kill us. And we have to do this as quickly as possible, because at any time they can turn on the 5G, and your Article 61 won't protect you then, will it? So it's a matter of urgency. And I'm quite glad I found out about it, and I'm going to do everything in my power to do it for myself and to help you guys do it, and hopefully you'll get some others into it as well. The guy Andy had a bit of an upsurge in his page yesterday. I think a lot of that, well, a lot, I shared it in a few places, and a lot of people I shared it with, they've joined it as well, so you do what you can, eh? Yeah, degrading. What passes for entertainment and stuff, like even these horror movies, you know, they start them off like maybe The Exorcist or something like that. Even back in the day, that was quite scary, wasn't it? But it wasn't that graphic, apart from the heat spinning round and she was doing that with the crucifix into the pussy. That was quite mad. But yeah, that was a bit of a groundbreaker in its day, wasn't it? For taking it to the next level. But since then, the floodgates open, don't they? And I've seen some movies, even the computer games these days. That's pure evil gore coming out of those things. It's no good, because all these images, we have to be very careful of the things we put inside our consciousness, you know, because it affects us. This is why the power of that TV, that hypnotic box, is incredibly, incredibly powerful. Because these people's brains, all the, you know, anti-fucking reason, the anti-logic people, you know, the anti-thinking people, they're all totally fucking TV people. They're a program off the television. Stephen's turned up. Been decorating a special face covering to rip the piss out of the cunts at work. 3 positive cases in office staff today. Yeah, they don't have a clue. That's like somebody yesterday was telling me, oh yeah, somebody's caught coronavirus, blah blah blah. I'm like, they've not got coronavirus. Like another guy at work, his dad's been told he's got it. He's doing chemotherapy. It's like, is that not bad enough? Excuse me, we'll have a wee drink there. So you're going to have to wear a mask, Stephen. You're saying you're decorating a special face cover, and you said to me that they're trying to make you wear a mask if they got you down that road, because Mo's, well, I can send you it as well. We've got a little bit of paper that's going to help telling them to fuck off, basically. Because it's against your human right. Even this visor thing, it affects your consciousness. In fact, I was getting a really sore stomach the past couple of days, yesterday especially, but today a wee bit as well. And I'm thinking it's to do with the stress that I'm under. Even this morning, did I tell you about that Nazi had to go through the fucking bleeper machine? I was shaking after it, just trying to talk to somebody, and just the way they attack you. It's pure fucking ridiculous. And then I'm in the workplace, and I felt myself, so all the day with this visor, and I don't like it being there. I think it's causing stress, and it's causing, tension in my stomach. At least that's what I thought at one point today. I don't know if that's the actual cause, but it's definitely stressful, and I can do without it. Because when I take the mask off or take the visor off, it's like, it's such a relief to actually just be normal. Can you believe how we're having to fight just to fucking breathe these days? And people are actually supporting this insanity, because it's pure fucking evil insanity to go along with it, even the thought of this, and to put it on children is the fucking, oh my god, what are we doing to all these kids' brains in these schools and everything like that? Not to mention with the 5G in the schools, and all the rest of the fucking brainwashing shit that's going on there. And people are saying, should we teach homosexuality in schools and stuff like that? I see some comments. I don't know about you guys, right? But my brain, right? I'm not saying I'm super clever or anything, but I see things from a wider perspective. Just common sense, It's like, should we teach homosexuality in schools? Well, I'm like, why do we send our kids to school in the first place? Who wants to send them to an indoctrination centre where there's a fucking curriculum to treat everybody the fucking same, to produce unthinking, unquestioning robots? So that's not a good idea. Parents should be, there was a brilliant statue in America. I'll have to find the video what I've seen. But in the statue, it had like 4 different aspects to it to explain what it's like to be a proper human. It's like teaching you, how some things are very coded. Well, this statue, and it's showing you basically how a parent should be the one responsible for their own child, and to teach them all the morals and everything properly, and how to be a decent human being, basically, and bring up their kids that way. So we should be teaching our children, not leaving it to the state to teach them about sex and get their perverted ideas put into their brains, And we need to be responsible and govern ourselves and stop giving our power away. So once humanity's at that level, then when we have offspring, we're responsible for them till they get to a certain age, and teach them the trivium. And by the time they get to 12 or that, primary school, whatever, can be useful, reading and writing and maybe a bit social bonding and stuff, but it should be done in a spirit of play, experimentation, and, not just sitting in a room listening to somebody blab on a load of shite. So that's why children get turned off, and it puts them off learning. It takes the joy out of learning. Learning should be a fun thing, and done through play, and then you'll get people finding their passion and following that and producing original stuff, which of course the government don't want any original creative thinking, do they? They want to just make us place a fucking living hell if it's not already. Just the corporate state owning all the fucking shit, the robots going around doing their shit, and the rest of us killed off with our 5G Georgia Guidestones plan, basically, yeah? So Stephen here saying he's been telling them the truth straight up from the get-go. Yeah, I was doing it as well. Mo's a trier, I'll tell you that. Mo is a trier. He's still coming in here. Still trying his darndest. We actually had him on the screen earlier, briefly, after 50 minutes of trying to get him in. And then I can hear something. I think he might be around. Let me just try and find this. I've got to flick through a lot of things here. All these. Oh no! I'm going to bring him on the screen. Is he going to come up? Waiting for Mo.
Maybe around.
No.
Oh.
I can hear you. On the screen. Is he going to come up? Oh.
I can hear you.
I've got an echo mode. Do you have a speaker on?
Oh. Hold on, mate.
Oh. You have to put headphones on.
It's running face.
Sorry about this, folks. Yeah. I've got echo in here.
Hold on, mate. I've got to find him.
Right. First of all, folks out there, can you hear Mo or can you see Mo? Right. Right. You can hear him. Well, that's a start. Yeah. Right. Hang on, Mo. I just want to finish this point with Stephen. Yeah, I've been telling from the get-go. At the moment, wear a covering while in the van. Oh my god, that's ridiculous as well, isn't it? Literally, watch paint dry in the workshop. I can't in good conscience can jumping through hoops, yeah. All part of the plan to break up the family, control education. Yeah, that's what they do. They get the kids as young as possible, don't they? And what do you need, Barry? Do you need this? You're not actually in active employment, so you don't need to tell the council to fuck off, do you? But yeah, so Mo, are you there? Hello, Mo. No, he seems to have disappeared now. I think maybe, Mo, we need to get better organised and come back because we can't hear you now. Yeah, you're going to do the article. Yeah, everyone needs to do the Article 61, basically, yeah? Well, with regard to the virus, as soon as I heard it was in Wuhan and this nonsense about it, I was like, there's no way. I didn't know what I know now about what a virus is, but instinctively, based on 20 odd years of doing the rabbit hole searching, I just knew everything the news tells me is utter bullshit, you know what I mean? So I'm telling people then there is no virus. This is a fucking one of their bullshit schemes. And that's why I thought it was going to be 5G, and that's why I interviewed Mark Steele, near the start there. And you'll see the interview on YouTube. And then I discovered Don Lester and David Parker's work. And then I got them interviewed, built up a good relationship with them, got their book, learned a lot about it. So, but yeah, before the lockdown at work, I was telling people there is no virus. And they just thought I was completely fucking bonkers. But now I'm still telling them that, but at the back of their head there must be something nipping away, because look at all the changes that's happening. Nobody can actually see a pandemic kicking around, can they? Or a pandemic. You can see the pandemic, alright? But the pandemic, if there was this time, I've read Stephen King's book, The Stand, right? We've all seen the movies, what the Contagion and shit like that. They've been embedding this virus idea into fucking humanity for a long time. Probably, I don't know, with this in mind, it's a good tool. They need the germ theory, the whole pharmaceutical industry. It was worth billions for the whole fucking thing to work, basically. Without that, as David Parker says, they've got nothing. So, anyway, that's 100% bullshit. It's good to know these stuff, so even this coronavirus is making us learn that when you get the cold and flu, not to put extra medication into you, because that's toxifying your body more and causing more stress and strain to the body, so it takes longer to get through the flu, when that's a natural process for detoxification when we eat lots of shite like these fucking stupid biscuits. We're addicted to that shite. I'm trying to come off it. I need to think of, because you get used to wee treats, don't you? You have a cup of tea and a wee sweetie or stuff like that, and they're all full of absolute shite. And fruit, I'm liking fruit and vegetables, but there must be some sweets you can get or little treats that are natural products, just so you can kind of wean yourself off the shite products onto the good products. And here's another thing that proves this is all a pandemic. Oh, by the way, in the water, yeah, the water's definitely messed with. I'm buying bottled water every time I go to Tesco's now. I'm carrying out 4 big 5-litre bottles of water because I realised the water from the tap was disgusting. And yeah, apparently Mark Christopher who's the guy who's doing the Live Life Claim stuff on YouTube, he says it's literally sewage water or something like that. They've got sewage water and they filter out, and that's what's coming out our taps. We're literally drinking shit. So basically, we need. I keep meaning to buy one, but I work a full-time job, but I've got peanuts in my bank account. Do you know what I mean? Because they just keep us there on the breadline. So I can't actually afford a distiller, but it's on my list to buy. I think Steve Walker, you sent me a good link for a distiller, yeah? And Mo's trying again to get in. Where are you, Mo? Yeah, but this has proved there's a pandemic. Remember this Snapchat for fucking couple of years before then has got all these filters with masks. How the fuck can you make a mask cool? To me, it's the most evil thing ever. It's so bad. It's just mind-boggling. Did your guys' brains hurt with the actual insanity, the madness, the fucking sheer levels of stupidity that people are actually willing to go along with in order to fucking save lives when they're not seeing anybody die? Because you would expect with a pandemic, that's what I was saying, I keep talking till I remember what I'm talking about. So the movies like Stand and all that, if there was people, ambulances going and carrying people out of houses and people dying all around us, aye, fair enough, this is a fucking pandemic, there's people dying, let's mask up, protect each other, hide, do what you got to do. But, even if there was a pandemic like that, I would still rather take my chances and fucking go through the social engineering and take a vaccine for Bill Gates fucking scenario that they've got lined out for us, if you catch my drift, aye? So there's no obvious pandemic, so how can people not actually see that? Mo's around! Oh, I'm excited. Can we actually hear you? Are you coming in, Mo? He's froze. Oh, no, can you talk, Mo? Say something? It's very slow. Hold on a minute. Nicola, apparently the virus was being worked on in a lab, you see. Shut down too dangerous. They experimented. Yeah, that's a story. They put these stories out, right? But remember, they've got bits of poison.
Oh, there's a picture.
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit.
It says it's doing something.
Yep, you're in, yeah?
You have to try.
We can hear. So, just hold on 2 seconds. Yeah, the virus. The only way to get a virus inside you, Nicola, is to have it injected. Yeah, you're in. You're online.
Hey. Well,
Yep. Yep, your voice is a bit low though. Can you turn your mic up somehow? We can see it. Can you put your mic up a bit?
Well, it says I am, yeah.
Okay, if you can put up a wee touch, maybe people can just turn the speakers up. Anyway, can everyone see and hear Mo okay? So Steve Walker's there, pistachio. I'm eating pistachios these days. I do like them. Lemon protein balls. I've never heard of them, but yeah. Apples, growing yourself, yeah. Organic definitely makes a difference. That's right. It's nothing like when I lived in Turkey, there was lots of fresh fruit and vegetables. It was superb. That's why part of the reason I moved to Turkey, because the Tesco's bananas were like plastic. Okay. Yeah, you need to up the volume a bit, Mo.
Yeah.
That's it, getting a bit better.
Yeah.
Just a bit stuttery. Yeah, so Stephen Magnus is saying he's made my bullshit covering from an. So you're going to have to wear it, yeah, an old T-shirt. You should, as I said yesterday, right? Occupy the Getty on the mask or something like that, or practical lawful dissent. You should write that.
Is that better?
It's going to be a bit better. Put practical lawful dissent Facebook group on your mask. That would be a good one. Right. Yes, testing. You're kind of. We're getting kinds of feedback from you, Mo. We're bearing. Let me see. Get another picture up here for you. Oh, want to see a picture of me? No, we'll just leave Mo up. PLD, what's that? PLD, Barry Nicholson. I'm just rambling, Mo, while you kind of get your volume and that sorted out. And you're freezing a bit. So, yeah, with regard to the virus, there is no contagious virus, you know what I mean? Fuck this shit. That's a good one, Stephen. It is just ridiculous, isn't it? basically, aye.
How does that?
That's better. Yeah, a wee bit better. Yeah. So, Mo, you've done the first part of this, yeah? The oath.
Well, I'm on a headset, you see, so I'm not quite sure why the mic isn't working well.
It's okay. It's a bit better now. If people
I'll
just
give
have
it
to
a
turn it
try.
up. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you first of all, Mo, to do you know anything about the Magna Carta itself, how it was formed, or the ins and outs of it? Because I'm not very up to speed in that yet. I've started to read the document, the PDF document, but what do you know about the history of this thing? Not a lot. Now, Mo, I think we're going to have to come back and try again. Some once we get you sorted out. Can you hear me? Because normally there's not so much of a time lag.
Oh, I'm trying to work. Hold on.
Okay, let's show some other pictures in the meantime. Yeah. Why should we have to have these things exempt from wearing a muzzle, basically, you know? We have to justify our existence on this planet just to breathe air. This is pure evil from Satan, you know what I mean? It's pure evil. And how people can't see it is beyond my comprehension, really. We shouldn't need to dream up all this stuff just to fucking breathe. Why you go to work and they're trying to suffocate you under the guise of health and safety? That doesn't make very much sense, does it? So here's another wee thing. Apparently, this is a real thing. Inside the lift, they've got these finger condoms. Have any of you heard of this one? Aye. They're just mockery. I think a lot of what's actually going on is just them pissing themselves laughing at the human race to get us to do all this. You know what I mean? It's just like, let's see what nonsense we can get away with today, guys. And they dream up this shit, and people go along with it. They go, they're actually buying this. What is, it's so easy for them. It's so easy. So, aye, the finger condoms, give us a fucking break when operating a lift. Yeah, and at my work today, I don't know if I loaded the picture up. I was trying to do it just before. Um, oh, aye, so anyway, there's a cleaner at the work, right? And now on every table, right, after fucking people have used it, the cleaner's got to go in, and there's a special bit of card. In fact, I'll bring it up. I'll have to download it from Facebook. Because I sent it to Emma so I could download it and upload it. But basically, it's just madness. What's this finger cots? I used to wear them to handle lenses for spectacles. So these are a practical thing in the past. Yeah? They're actually in the lift of your office building, Stephen. It's insane, isn't it? It's pure madness over something that doesn't exist. That's what I can't believe, you know? Prove to us that this thing actually exists, and then we might get round the table and talk about it. But until you do that, what right have you got to tell people to change the world, to stop hugging, kissing? That's another thing. Did you hear this one? Scottish people better get used to a digital Christmas. We're going to give you a digital Christmas, folks, says Nicola. Basically, two words for Nicola, and the second one's off. Yeah? I mean, Jesus Christ. Give us a break. I'm no a big fan of the commercial aspect of Christmas. I did like the family getting together, even though some families don't get on that well. But you know what I mean. It was a nice time of year. Take some time out, spend it with your family, and then ignore them for the rest of the year, or whatever. But it's a tradition, and they're trying to fuck with Jesus' birthday. You can. Nobody mentions Jesus, do they? Are you hanging in there, Mo? What's happening? You have to wipe our seats too. It's unreal. This is what was left on the table. Yeah? That's on every fucking table after someone eats anything at the work. It's just absolutely brutal. I had to take a picture of it. It's just insane. Give us a fucking break, eh? It's so pathetic. The Queen's Speech, aye. I think there's in my new book, Screwy Scribbles. I could do a picture of that for you as well. Some of you might have seen it. It's coming pretty soon. I'm quite excited about it. But yeah, I think there's a bit of talk about Christmas in that, and I mentioned the Queen's Speech. Yeah, I was talking to you, Nicola. I did you did like this, didn't you? I seen you like that, but yeah, Nicola Sturgeon. Oh my God, what did they call her? I've got some names for her. Jimmy Cranky, aye, wee Jimmy. So anyway, I talk about the Queen's Speech during that. See, it's a bit samey, you know. It's a bit samey every year, but anyway, can't remember the exact joke right now. But the good thing about putting your jokes in a book is like there's not so much pressure to get laughs when you're doing it live. It used to stress me out quite a lot, but that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? Mo, what's happening to you? Ian, are you there? Nah. Here's a good one. We talked about this They Live movie the other day, didn't we? And I forgot to mention this aspect of it. We talked about how hard it was to get the guy to put the glasses on, yeah? So that's a big fight. That's what we're trying with all these, twat heads out there. I try not to be rude to them, but, for God's sake, if you've not cottoned on to the fact that the government's no your friend at this point, God help you. So anyway, the bit in the movie, remember at the end of They Live, what did they have to do? They had to go to the television station and basically shut down the signal because the power that they've got is incredible. I'm going to take it out, Mo. Come and try and log in again, mate. Yeah, that's good. Good, folks. I would really appreciate the vid testimonial. If you want to do a longer one than 2 minutes, then just do it on your phone and send it to me. I've got the system I'm trying to set up to be a case study so I can start sending it to other businesses because I think it's quite a good thing to do. If you look at my page, a lady, Kathleen Thompson, done one for me and the one for Stephen D. Kelly. And to be honest with you, it was really quite nice. It's a very human thing. It's better than just doing a video advert for somebody, which I can do as well. But to hear somebody see their personality and talk about your work, and I think it's obviously the best form of advertising, and other people get more confidence from hearing somebody recommend a product, not just in writing, because you can write anything, can't you? So yeah, if any of you like to do that. I know some people don't like to be on camera, so fair enough. So aye, Stephen, you can do that, share a story, no probs. So yeah, 2 minutes. I'm trying to get the company because I'm doing it through the system whereby everything's kind of be taken care of, like once it's all set up, so I don't have to have that much hands-on in it. And they've got a 2 minute limit because they think short and sweet is better. But I think that's better for specific businesses like your dentist or whatever. But if you're going to talk about an author or whatever, you might want to go a bit deeper into it. So 2 minutes to me isn't enough. So I'm trying to get them to change that, and they said they're going to maybe work on it and let me know. Yeah. So that was quite an interesting one. Do you want to share it briefly now, Stephen, how you ended up sharing a joint with Roddy Piper? And you're saying this was your last joint ever. Was that because you just said that's a good one to leave it on, Aye. But that fight scene, you're watching it's going on and on forever, but then after it you realise, that's the significance of it. It's just so hard to get people to put on those damn glasses just to take a look at it. Like again today, I'm sharing what really makes you, and that guy comes back with, people like you. Well, there's a whole website there for you. They've got tons of interviews. They've got a fucking 800-page book with 40 pages of references. Why not take a look at some of that first before you come back with fucking just disregarding it? You know what I mean? Don't put any kind of time or effort into looking at any alternative media that's not coming from the likes of Whitley, Hancock, and fucking Bojo and the rest of the paedophiles that are out there. An e-copy, that's cool. Yep. We've got to get the work out there. You've got to be creative and try and, it's hard these days because there's so much noise on social media and everyone's obviously obsessed now with the COVID thing, quite rightly. We need to fucking put an end to this bullshit. But again, Stephen, I know your new book's going to be quite interesting on Jesus. That's going to take a while. But I can actually set up, I can put your previous book out if you want, and people can download it for free using the same system that I'm using to promote Stephen D. Kelly's work. Let me know about that, Ian. Yeah, that's the thing. Roddy Piper. I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. See, I was thinking before about going down the tunnels and that. We have to be ready to like have battlefield Earth or whatever and take these aliens or demons or whatever's down there out. But okay, Mo, we'll try again, mate. We'll get it sorted long in advance so that when you come on the show, we're good to go 100%, yeah? So Mo's given up for tonight. Some things are just not meant to be. When he comes on, it'll be the right time. I'm a great believer in that, You can't force the universe. You can try, but sometimes the universe has its own plan. Let's hope it's got a good plan that we can put an end to this bullshit. But anyway, the Magna Carta thing, to me, is giving hope that we can actually take these people down without resorting to violence. That's the politicians' surface level side of it. But other countries don't have the Magna Carta. Like, for instance, my son and that's in Turkey right now, and their politicians and whatever are fucking, it would probably need a violent revolution there because they don't have the Magna Carta. We should be very grateful in this country for that. And that means we should be, and even when you read the document about it, it says that you have like almost an obligation, it's your duty to rise up against a tyrannous government, and I don't understand why people don't have the will to fucking enact this. What are they so scared of? People actually think that this life is all they've got, So I'm a believer in we exist after we die. So if you die, well, you don't evaporate from the universe. We're more than just our body, we're a consciousness in this body having an experience. So it takes a big lot of fear away once you realise that you're part of everything. You can't be destroyed ultimately. Don't get me wrong, I won't particularly like to die. I like to see how this shit unfolds. So sometimes I do say I want to kill myself when you take a look around and everyone's wearing a fucking mask. And everyone, have you ever had this in a big room full of people? They're all wearing masks. All you hear is bum, 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 bum. I'm like, what? Today the guy I was working with actually got his mask, right? I got like that and I pulled it back. I was like, what was that? And he's like, blah 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 blah, is that right? And then I let go and it binged back on his face. He laughed a bit, it was quite funny. So Stephen Magnus is working at security at an autograph signing in Glasgow with Piper and a few other. Oh yeah, he was a WWE legend. By the way, Stephen used to be a wrestler, yeah. But I don't know. Did you drink too much beer and get out of shape, or I'm not sure how it ended. But yeah. So the WWE now, a lot of that's fixed, is it? No, but I believe that the wrestling you were doing, Stephen, was probably more legit. I'm not too sure. So anyway, Piper's son was with him. He got the skinner, alright, and we fucked off back to the digs. We got fucked up on all sorts of levels. In the morning, Piper came through with nothing on but boxers and a neck brace. A neck brace? Cunt made me coffee. I rolled one and we got high as fuck again. We had a show later that day. And you're telling me that was your... What do you mean you had a show? Another autograph signing? Yeah? That's a good point as well. Nah, broke my neck, mate. Hold on. Piper came through with nothing on but boxers and a neck brace. You broke your neck, right? So Piper had the neck brace and you broke your neck. That would put an end to a wrestling career right enough. That's the thing, isn't it, Nicola? When we dream, is that reality? And what is this, Who is the dreamer? It's a good movie. Any ever seen a movie called Waking Life? I'll put it in here. Is it called Waking Life? I think it is. It's a guy, Richard Lineker or something like that. He does some quite good movies. He's quite a good director. I quite like him. But there's one, Waking Life. It's got people like Alex Jones in that, but it's got like diagrams over the top of it. So they filmed it in real world, and then they kind of put artistic interpretation to make it look like a cartoon, like a dream, basically. And it's got lots of different people talking different philosophical points. It's well worth a watching, that one. We sold out 3,000 people at a show in Perth. You mean the wrestling show? So, all right, see what you mean. So they had a WWE in Perth. That's quite an unusual place for that. I thought it'd have been Glasgow or Edinburgh. But yeah, so interesting. So what does this say? Yeah. Well, do you ever get like that as well? Sometimes the Scanner Darkly, yeah, that was the one he done after it, I think, yeah? That had, who do you call him? Who's that guy that played Iron Man? A bit of a druggie back in the day. Robert Downey Jr., yeah? And a couple other famous ones in Scanner Darkly. Yeah, quite good. I like some of his other movies. They're quite human, you know. There was another movie I seen recently, or not recently, a while ago. It might be one of his. Captain someday. The guy had his children and he was living in the forest. Do you know that one? Did we watch it? No, we watched it. Captain Fantastic. Yeah, Keanu Reeves was in it. Captain Fantastic. You seen that one? That's quite an interesting movie because the dad was a good dad, but you know the general population didn't like the way he was raising his kids because he was educating them. We're talking earlier about the right way to bring up the kids. He was properly educating them about sex and making them read good books. And you know, his sister or something like that, they went to visit the house, and their children were thick as fuck compared to his children. I say thick as fuck. They hadn't had the opportunities to learn because they'd been indoctrinated in the system. So they were very much a product of the schooling system and that. I've just had a wee quick message there. This should be interesting. I asked John Wedger if he'd like to come on the show, and he's just said yes. So I've not replied to him yet, but we'll be getting John on for a wee chat. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? I like to go to the high level shit. You can. Well, let's get right into the satanic ritual abuse that's going on at high levels of fucking Parliament, etc. Because this stuff needs to be stopped. I can't believe another thing that people know about this shit and we're not doing anything about it. Everyone should be on the right page about this. It's ridiculous how people didn't get upset about that. You know what I mean? I've just put another one of Bob's wee quotes on here. So-called viruses are simply dead fragments of former cell components that have never been proven to do or cause anything, period. Why can't people get that simple fact into their thick skull? It really, really gets to me after this amount of time that everybody, because if we all understood that, when Nicola's spouting her shite about fucking the numbers are going up and blah, 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 you're talking absolute bollocks, Nicola. You're just spouting shite. You're lying for your fucking evil friends up the top of the pyramid, and you probably got your ticket for the bunker when they switched the 5G on. We know all about your plan. Shut the fuck up. You're a corporate service corporation. That's all the government is, like McDonald's or Burger King. They're providing a service. They're not doing a very good job, so we can take them out the picture, and that's our duty, basically. Yeah? Yeah, the John Wedger one should be good. There's also a guy, Steve Walker, there's got me in touch with a guy, a famous DJ, which in the DJ world, I don't know if he's a musician. He makes electronic music. Gaz, what's his second name? Steve. But he's going to come on the show. He had a bad reaction to some vaccinations, and he told me he got to a point where he had to make a choice between going down the pharmaceutical route or investigating all the stuff for himself. And he started investigating for himself, and basically he's been doing it ever since. And since then, he's quite knowledgeable about a lot of things to do with health and stuff like that. So he sees through the bullshit, and should be a good guest as well. Very, very talented guy, although I've not listened to his music. Steve Walker, he's got some good music, by the way. If you want Steve to send you his music, I don't know if he'll do that, but I think you've got someone on a site. They've got that new remix that you done, Steve. But I've been listening to his electronic remixes and stuff that he does. That's great stuff as well. See, the thing is, look at the people here. We've got Barry Nicol, an artist. Stephen Magnus, an author, musician. Total nut job. That's a joke, Stephen. Mo, I'm sure you're quite creative in your own way. Gaz Cobain, yeah? And we're the ones that get called crazy from the people who watch the BBC News and follow Nicola and Bojo there. You know what I mean? It's just madness, isn't it? The ones with a brain in this world are just like get ridiculed for thinking. it's crazy. Uh, so yeah, as soon as this call finishes, I'll get back to John Wedger and see. He's actually doing a charity walk right now from, is it London to Bristol, to raise money for people in Bristol, the homeless in Bristol. So that's it. Yeah, I've also told you guys before as well. I've got tribe, a tribe. I'll give you the link if you want. I think some of you are joined it. Maybe we should kick that into gear so that we could share our stuff there, and have our own creative place to share our stuff for free, and don't worry about spamming or shit like that. Just plug all your stuff into there, and form a wee community inside that. Yeah, and yeah, things like that. Just ideas. These two working together. I mean, why the hell? Who here actually believes that Mark Zuckerberg is the king of Facebook? Because I just think he's like Elon Musk or other people who they've got to have a cover story for their implementation of the agenda. You know what I mean? So if you actually look at Mark Zuckerberg when he was in that court that time getting questioned, he's not the sharpest tool in the box, is he? But I think it's just a front man. And then you've got Bill Gates, obviously his father as well, into the eugenics stuff. And his laugh, he actually looks like a different Bill Gates though as well. Have you noticed that? I think they change people. They've got doubles and whatever going on. It's just mental. Because the new Bill Gates is even more creepy than the previous one. Hi. So that's interesting, Stephen Magnus. Yeah, let's talk about this tribe. I'll set it up a bit better, then we'll try and communicate in there and maybe share our stuff and build it up a bit, yeah? So that's congratulations, Stephen, there, and indie label SOS Records. The first release a charity thing for Diabetes UK. Maybe Emma will get some of the money, yeah? Do you know Emma? She's got type 1 diabetes, and honestly, to see somebody deal with that every day, it's a fucking unbelievably, oh my god, tough thing. I actually had a chat last night where, because I'm going to work every day and she's staying in the house, and we're saying, what would be the best for the rest of my life? I said to her, would you rather go to the shunk, the place where I work, that's what it's called, the shunk after a toilet, Scottish word for a toilet is called the shunk, right? Would you rather go there and do my job 6 in the morning till 2 every day, 5 days a week, and be free of your diabetes, or would you rather have your diabetes and stay in the house and just do your own thing but have to deal with that? And she chose the work. And she asked me what I would choose, and I said the diabetes, but without the possibility of having DKAs and going into. She says, no, that doesn't count. I was just talking about doing the injections and stuff. That's hard enough, but it's actually. So anyway, there's two types of diabetes. Mo, you're talking about type 1 or type 2, because type, they're different, yeah. But type 1 is basically she has to inject herself, and there's nothing to do so much with watching the sugar like the type 2 have to do now. We're not 100% sure on the timeline, but it's highly, highly possible, in fact, probably likely, that you got the vaccination first. Aye. But you had vaccinations before you had diabetes. Aye. So she had lots of vaccinations before diabetes, and I'm of the opinion, obviously you can't prove it, that shit's caused her type 1 diabetes. And it does, basically, that's one of the things it can cause. Because these injections should be never put anywhere near a child, should they? They're actually complete poison. And the body has to fucking go into overdrive to fucking stop this poison, and they'll have effects. It doesn't affect some people straight away, but it could be a couple of years down the line that all this stuff comes out. So most saying you can cure, yeah, what type is that, type 1 or type 2? And have you ever heard of this Ayurveda? Aye, I have heard of that, but I'm not exactly sure what it was. I've read about it in some site sometime, but Emma's looking that up. We have heard other people say you can cure diabetes, and what? Oh, Emma's saying it's never been shown to be done. I'm just saying I've heard people talk about the possibility of it, but she's uh, so Mo's saying here the uncle has diabetes. They wanted to inject him. The medicine yogi sorted that both type 1 and type 2. Yeah. So there's that. And then Stephen saying it's been amazing what he's managed to achieve after deciding to watch use of Bevy, yeah? I've been known and worked with many diabetics of both types. The fish are rotten in Denmark. Yeah, something does stink. But yeah, coming off the Bevy, I've basically what happened. If you want to know the truth, the shooting the shit. When I was doing them before, I was off the blow, smoking dope for 3 weeks, and then I started smoking again. I just kind of got lethargic because it's quite hard coming on here and talking for an hour. I can do it. I do lots of comedy gigs and stuff after before I have a smoke before, but I'm not functioning at a high level, and I want to be switched on talking about these things. So I just kind of got off the will. You lose the will, I think, to do stuff if you're poisoning yourself. I mean, obviously, alcohol's I think more of a poison than dope, but I still think dope does affect you. If I could just use it a little bit, maybe on a Friday, Saturday night, and then turn away from it, but I'm a bit of an addictive, extreme type personality, so I tend to just go into things up to there. So I've been living in a quite a long time in that kind of bubble of being stoned or whatever. I think it's because my brain is very active, and it's frustrating just sitting here and working on all this computer stuff. So I use the dope to kind of nullify myself, to stick on some tunes and work away at stuff, but you're not as effective and you're not as, productive really. And when you actually stop doing that and you get your, consciousness back and you fully align with the universe, then you get more shit done. You're more focused, and it's all good, isn't it? So I think actually this lockdown and the coronavirus, with regard to shutting the pubs and stuff like that, although I disagree with the social aspect of it, can be a good thing for people talking, but if it's actually managing to wean some people off the excess use of alcohol, because let's face it, it's a very damaging thing. I think that could be a good thing. If 1 or 2 pints can be a bit of a social lubricator, but there's that movie I watched the other day. Was it Hot Fuzz? I think I mentioned it yesterday. They're just down in the pints, and that's the British culture, isn't it? Just another pint. Fucking hell! Look at the damage we're doing to ourselves. Yeah, yeah. I thought that happened, Stephen. So anyway, that's Steve Walker here. I think we had a few issues of sick childhood after the vaccine. Yeah, yeah. That's another thing. The fillings we've got in our like the mercury fillings are actually doing a slow release into our system all the time. It's actually very bad for you, yeah? And you're saying you get migraines with that. That's right, too. We should remove all of our fucking evil, nasty fillings that we got back in the day, yeah? Yeah, I seen. We was ready to go to a show with Stephen there about entertaining people, talking about music or whatever, and he kind of backed out, but I think there's some issues going on there. So that's par for the course, or normal. We have to conquer ourselves, don't we? This is about taking self-governance, taking responsibility for yourself, overcoming your fears, overcoming your limitations, that you think you've got limitations. Like, for instance, Emma, she's scared to come on camera. She's scared to make videos. I'm saying, do me a video testimonial, bitch. Smack her about the place, say, fucking do this. But now she just walks in with bruises and still refuses to. These are jokes, folks. You can't even make jokes these days, can you? You know what I mean? You can't even joke about this stuff with the politically correct people. You can't say that! You can't even say that! You just want to go, fuck oh! Because they shouldn't limit our free speech at all. Should be free to say anything. Because anything can be taken out of context, can't it? It's the meaning behind it, the context that you say things in, that people pick up the energy on it. Not just taking a quote, putting it in a paper, and then it looks really bad. I think Billy Connolly got a bit of grief when he made some comment, but again, he said it in the moment and it got a laugh, because he was making the point that guy was like, oh, just fucking kill him already, because he's sick of seeing it on the news every night. That's the point he was commenting on, not the fact that he wanted the guy to be killed, And then the papers got hold of it, made it a big thing, and now some people still hate him for that. Anyway, used to smoke as a tree surgeon. Did you have to give it up? You couldn't stand the sight of sap. It's another 40 Towers joke. Anyway. Yeah, some people are better with it. I think it affects people differently. I think people, yeah, I think people use it as a good way. See, when you're younger and stuff like that, it can open the brain up and make it more creative and stuff. But I think George Carlin had a good thing whereby you use something until the pleasure is going up and the usefulness of it is going up, and then it gets to a point where it kind of levels off, and then it starts becoming detrimental. And at that point, there is when you should start cutting back on it and reducing. So you've got to understand when there's something's being, harmful to you rather than something that's, because I took a lot of LSD and it fucked me up real bad. But for a while, it did make me perceive things very differently, And yeah, but I'm a victim of the fucking hippie propaganda bullshit. You'll see that if you get my book, Screwy Scribbles. I tell my life story in that. Well, a part of my life story. It was in comedy skits that I wrote about my life. So it's not a proper autobiography. It's written for the stage, but you'll see the kind of shit I went through. It's quite mad. Anyway, so sat on top of the tree many times with a fat one. Talking to acid at work, I actually took half an acid tab and went to my work at the chemical factory one day. That was quite interesting. I never realised how fucked I was because I was taking a lot of it at the time. But when I got home and smoked a joint, I was like, fucking hell, I've been tripping at my brains all morning. So, yeah, Mo went to the dentist and got 10 grand to take them out. That's a fucking fair whack of money. That's unbelievable. Yeah, Steve Walker, he's realising. See, the thing is, we kind of make these things a big thing in our head. Oh, we've got to give this up. And it's like, oh, such a big thing. But I was trying to say to Steve earlier, uh, don't make it a big thing. Just say, I'm just having a wee break from it. See how I feel, and take each day as it comes. And if you feel like having a drink or a smoke, have one. Didn't beat yourself up. It's not the end of the world, Whatever gets you through the night, John Lennon sang about, eh? Well, if it was John Lennon. The Beatles never wrote their own songs, by the way, if I've mentioned that before. But it's another story. Nicola done LSD a couple of times. It's a crazy fucking drug, LSD. It's absolutely fucking insane. There's no way that should have been mass available, It was basically put into society with the sole purpose of fucking it up and making all the hippies look crazy. So when you talk about peace and love, you got one of those drugged out hippies. Do you know what I mean? And it was used by the CIA for MK Ultra experience. It was fucking not a good thing. Although it did make me go past dope was one thing, but the LSD made me see clearly that we are all one consciousness. As Bill Hicks has that quote, doesn't he? We're all one consciousness, experience themselves subjectively. We are the imagination of ourselves, exactly like that. So when you're on acid, it's like everything's connected, yeah? So we are actually, we're all a reflection of each other, and the people who you have in your life is some aspect of you in them. And the fact the people that wind you up the most are probably parts of yourself that you need to look at and overcome. It's quite weird how the universe works, isn't it? Build a castle, strengthen the walls, and help others. Emma is lovely, yeah. She sure is. She's a wee star. She's coming off the dope with me, and I'm actually getting to discover her true character. It's quite nice. Thankfully, she's not an annoying bitch. She's just pretty cool. Because normally she's just sitting on the sofa like a sack of tatties, you can. Watch this, Emma. Fucking listen to this, and I just rant, Now she's got a couple of things to say a day as well. So, LSD and sleeping pills, that's a fucking some combo, that, Stephen. Here we go. People who design stencils for a living have their work cut out. Yeah, it is all very pretty. Again, if you take these things in small doses, I abused LSD. Honestly, I was on it nearly every day for about a year, which was some fucking doing. The guy I was taking it with, we tried to form a rock band, but he went completely doolally and had the mental breakdown. At that point, I thought maybe I should hang fire with this fucking thing, and then I realised how fucked up I was, and I got into Buddhism and all this kind of stuff. So it kind of opened my eyes to spirituality, but with the aspect of me trying to heal myself from the damage I'd done by, melting my brain and that shit. Some magics these last few days. I mean, that's something I'm actually thinking about going to the forest to have a look for some, because in my local forest, that's where they grow, and this is the time of year, yeah? If I told you my magic mushroom story, there's a poem about it in my book called Magic Mushes, actually. In fact, maybe I could... it's going to be a bit difficult. Let me see. Aye. Let me see if I can do this. If any of you's heard my magic mushrooms thing, I'll see if I can get a quick video. Why not? I'm actually thinking about doing a different show. This is shooting the shit, whereby we talk about the. All right, so here's something here. This might be too big. Everything, but I'm thinking about doing a show where I read my poetry and comedy and shit like that to try and promote this book. So that may be another one I'll start to do. But I'm trying to upload. Oh, it's going to come quite quickly. So here's my magic mushroom. This is based on a true story, right? So I've only took mushrooms once, and this is what happened. Once this video loads, we'll have a laugh at it. Oh yeah, this is the Mullins guy, the PCR test. He died conveniently just before they started using it to prove their bullshit. So let's see if this works. Normally I do this poem as Nob Stewart, but in this case, the first video I found was me doing it as myself. So let's roll with this one, and we'll join you in a few minutes, and then we'll wrap up after this. Let me see if I can get this on the screen. Is that? Oh, what the hell? Why is that not showing? Huh. Well, that ain't showing. It looks like there's a problem with my system. So let's get back on this. Maybe there's a problem with my system here, because that video ain't working. So I need to figure that out. You can hear it. Do you want to hear it? Nah, we'll come back to it. We'll basically do it some other time. Yeah. But anyway, I'll tell you what happened, right? So I went to the magic mushrooms, right? So my mate, I always want to take these magic mushrooms, right? Because I read about them from Terence McKenna and stuff like that, yeah? And so my mate had 200, so we went up to beside a loch in the middle of nowhere, Scottish Highlands, fucking nailing about for miles, pitched the tent, took these 100 mushrooms each in a yogurt, swallowed them, and about 10 minutes later, all the hills start dancing. I'm like, fucking, that's pretty mental, can't look at that. Look somewhere else. Oh, that's better. And they start dancing again. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Then we just hear, all right, Billy and Andy, how you doing? I was like, what the fuck? Turns around, it's our boss from work. He's walking the West Highland Way. The two of us are 10 minutes into fucking a mushy fucking trip. I said, what the actual fuck is going on here? I'm like saying to him, fucking hell, these mushies kick ass. That looks like the guy for work. My mate said, nah, that isn't the mushies. That is the guy for work. Terence McKenna, there's rumours of Nicholas saying she loves Terence McKenna. I was into it back in the day, the archaic revival and stuff like that. It's quite interesting, but I think he could be a CIA kind of asset as well, along with Timothy Leary and people like that, you know? They've got some interesting ideas, but you have to be a bit careful with some of that stuff. But again, back then, I thought it was the food of the gods and all this stuff, whether it's true, because what they say is the use of magic mushrooms made us get colour vision and stuff like that on the grasslands of Africa. There's a big theory behind it. Anyway, so what are you saying there, Stephen? Banshee chapter, movie, by the way. Mushies only maybe feel like you're needing a shite. That's an unusual side effect. Never heard of that one. Anyway, the numbers are dropping off, so I think we've done our hour and stuff like that. Yeah, we all good? This is it. I want to be like Saul. Yeah, I want to be on the road to Damascus. A wee joke to finish us off there. That's been tonight's show, folks. I hope you enjoyed that one. If you want to do a video testimonial, it would be much appreciated. Oh, aye, another thing. If you know anyone who has a business and would like some video testimonials, send them in my direction or give me a referral or something like that. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you on tomorrow night's show. We'll maybe get Mo lined up to work properly this time. And apart from that, take care. Have a good one. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.